What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Almost Brothers podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Dunklin County Transit.
DCT, anyone can ride. At Dunklin County Transit, our goal is to provide safe, reliable, and accessible transportation options to meet the diverse needs of not only Dunklin County, but our entire Southeast Missouri community.
We are committed to ensuring that all residents, regardless of their circumstances, age, or income, have access to essential services, healthcare facilities, employment opportunities, and recreational activities, and more.
Through our transport services, we aim to enhance mobility, promote well-being, and foster community connectivity. You can go in the show notes below, click the link to DunklinCountyTransitMalden.com, or you can go to the website dctsmalden.com. That's dctsmalden.com. And don't forget, anyone can ride.
At Squidward. Hey, who is that?
Yeah, what? Squidward.
Yeah.
Squidward?
Oh, I thought he was doing the. I thought he was doing the Rob Schneider thing
The
from
maze.
From
Maze. It's amazing.
Yeah, we was watching Squid Games, and Luke keeps calling it Squidward Games.
I'm Squidward.
Oh my God.
He's Squidward. We're all Squidward.
I'm going to need you to never do that again.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Almost Brothers podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the waiting season.
Don't do that.
Here with me, as always, we got Richie Rich. How's it going?
It's good, man. I'm a little upset. I've lost my coffee.
My coffee has ran off from me.
I don't know where I put it.
Ty, how you doing?
I'm ready to get this episode finished so we can go eat Chinese food.
Oh my gosh,
The boy is obsessed with
man!
some Chinese
You've
food.
got it. So really today, what we want to talk about is this is an intervention. Okay, everybody, go ahead and come on in. We're gonna
All
talk
right,
to Tyler.
good talk.
Talk to Tyler about his obsession with Chinese food.
I can stop whenever I want.
Right.
I'm just not going to.
You know, the good old I could stop whenever I want. Yeah,
I'm just not going to.
That's
okay.
another episode.
What's your favorite thing of Chinese food? So, like, if you had only one thing, you could,
Lo mein.
okay,
Lo
just
mein.
noodles, just straight.
Yep.
Okay,
But throw some shrimp in there.
no, you only had one. So
Oh,
the
there's
lo mein
shrimp
is
lo
what-
mein.
Shrimp lo mein's a
There's shrimp
thing.
lo mein.
That's two things, though.
It's not.
It's
a,
not.
It's a dish.
Well, that's
I
like,
didn't say-
okay,
I
you
didn't
can
say
only
one
have
dish, I
the
said
noodle.
one thing.
Okay, but that's basically saying you can only have the noodles, no sauce, no seasoning that they put on it, just the noodle.
You're a noodle. I don't know.
Got it.
Don't make me say something that's gonna make me feel bad for saying it.
So,
I'm sorry for what I thought about saying.
so Tyler, you this was your idea of the theme for the episode.
Why are you
so
blaming me?
you can start us out.
If it crashes and burns, it's all
it's
you.
all you.
This is bull crap. No, I got a message this morning, so I started writing a song about the pattern of 40 in the Bible. 40 days it rained. Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights. Was it 40 years the Israelites were in the wilderness,
Yeah.
right? So I started writing a song about, God being the, talking about God being the God that pulls you through the 40 and brings you to 41. So I wrote a little bit and I posted it on TikTok, and I had this guy message me, was like, hey, like, kind of, really needed that reminder, and started asking, like, how do you deal with like rejection and disappointment and waiting in ministry? Because he's, it's kind of in the same boat that I was for a little while last year. He's a worship leader, and basically there's been opportunities that he's been passed up on, and basically he's just trying to figure out how to handle that, and basically questioning himself, questioning God's plan for him, and kind of all that.
It's kind of that the teacher is quietest during the test, and it's hard, that testing season, that quiet season, like what is going on? Like, has God forsaken me? Like, what is really happening? Because it can be daunting, that season of kind of nothing, so it's such a good subject because we all go through this in our lives, and God allows us to go into this wilderness season on purpose. There's a reason for it,
right?
And it's in a world of instant justification, in a world of, the Instagram, the Facebook, everything is instant. You get news instantly.
Right.
We used to have to wait on newspaper. You wait on the 9:00 news at night, whatever. Everything is instant now. So we think that success is instant. We think that, the Brandon Lakes of the world that kind of blew up on the scene. You think, oh, well, they just kind of just started and they blew up. And it's like, no, years and years and years of preparation happened for this to happen. So let's first start off about some, you talked about a little bit about your, last year, kind of, you were in kind of that season
of limbo.
Right. Rich, what was the season where you were kind of in that in between time, and like, man, you just felt like you're in, like, literally in the desert, like just dry wasteland. You don't know which way is out. You don't know where to go.
Well, and if you're speaking of just ministry, which personally and just ministry, it was that period of time when me and Jennifer had split up, and we kind of moved away to try and reconnect with each other. But in doing that, I kind of lost my way of what does God want for me now in ministry?
Yeah,
because my family seemed, it felt like it was falling apart. My ministry, I didn't really have a ministry at that time, and everywhere I tried to connect, it didn't feel like that's where God wanted me. So it was literally a period of waiting for just direction, God, what do you want for my family? What do you want for me in ministry? And it was hard. I mean, it's because it feels like when you're in that you're not getting answers.
Yeah.
Even when God is leading your steps, as long as you're seeking Him, but it still feels like forever.
Yeah. Before
you get an answer to what you're supposed to be doing. So, and it is generally through other people that you get that answer. God working through somebody else who, like what happened with you reaching out to me, like, hey, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so hard to really just stop and wait.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's in those seasons that God is moving and testing you quietly, molding you, making, because that's where you become, your integrity gets built. When you're not seen, when you're not heard, especially when you feel that God has called you to something and you're not seeing it yet. You have to lean on Him.
Right.
It's kind of a make or break. You can either give up hope or you lean on Him. So it's a test of strengthening your integrity in the quiet moments, in the moments where you're not seen, you're not heard. And me in my personal life, like it took 20 years of ministry to get to where I'm at now,
right,
in absolute obscurity. In being behind the scenes and helping other pastors and doing things that weren't. I didn't get a pat on the back for. I didn't get a, hey, thanks, Mike, for this. I didn't get a microphone on a stage. So my whole life in ministry has been built on that quiet season to then prepare me for the moment where God's like, okay, now I'm going to give you a platform to speak to because He had to test and grow my integrity. He had to test and grow my faith in Him outside of the shiny lights, outside of the spotlight. But nobody wants to do that anymore. They want it instant. They want it now. I don't want to spend the time in the darkness. You back before digital cameras, you take a picture. What happened when you took that picture?
You had to have it developed.
It was taken to a dark room.
Yeah.
So even before instant cameras or whatever, it had to be taken to a dark room and developed in the darkness before you could ever see what the picture looked like.
Right.
And that's how God works with us is you will have a season in obscurity, in not being seen, in the darkness, before you can develop into the thing that God has called you to be, into the person that God has called you to be. We see a lot of people that kind of get that instant success. What happens in their life? They end up falling.
Right.
Because they didn't have to go through that. You have the the guy that put one song up on SoundCloud and it blew up, and now all of a sudden he's this big name, and then he gets in a bunch of trouble. All this stuff happens. Now he's bankrupt
because you're unprepared.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't had to go through that season of development. So, instead of shying away from that season, we need to be leaning into that season.
We'll be right back.
Well, hey there. This is Mike from the Almost Brothers podcast. We want to thank you for checking out this episode. We want to ask you, has this podcast encouraged you in any way and you would like to give back? Well, guess what? We have a way that you can do that. Okay, you could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the show so we can continue to put out good content and encourage you. So if you've got time, go down in the show notes and click on that support button that will take you to the page to where you can give back and help us to continue this thing. Back to the episode.
Yeah, and it really is, the developing in the darkness is a really good analogy because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in the dark. It's like, what do I do?
Physically and literally in the dark. Like, what is happening right now? And there's something beautiful about that, about saying, God, I'm going to serve you even when nobody knows it.
Right.
I've helped some of my pastors write sermons that they used my own ideas and language in their sermon, and I got no credit for it whatsoever. And it's because God was showing me that you're going to work and not be seen, not be heard, not be noticed, and I'm going to develop you. I'm going to grow you in that season. So we should lean into that. It's okay, but nowadays people don't want to do that. They want it instant. They want it now.
Mm-hmm. And it's the growth is the point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you won't get that growth without that challenge, without that test, without God putting you through the fire and forging you into the man that you need, man or woman you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of see it. I can use me in jiu-jitsu right now as an analogy for that. Last night was my 4th or 5th class. I'm not going to go into a tournament now.
All right.
Right.
If I go into it in public setting where I'm going up against real life stuff, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yep.
That's the whole point of being not seen, and like you said, it's building your integrity where no one's watching. So that way, when you're in that position of eyes are on you and you're on a platform or you're in the spotlight, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's Tristan brought something up the other day. He said that he doesn't want to be good at something and get to a point to where he's prideful.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the preparation process too, is God is preparing your integrity so that when you do get that, it's not about you, it's about God and and bringing things to his glory, not your own.
Yeah. And I've talked about it before, the broom closet that my youth group used to be in. It was just an absolute mess, but it was the only place we had 4 youth. 2 of them were pastors' kids. They didn't listen. They, were falling asleep and not paying attention. But that God was developing me. I was preaching to those 4 kids like I'm preaching to 400.
Right.
And God was showing me something in that broom closet that if you can prepare, if you can give your all here, then you can give your what is given little. Who does good with little is given much.
Right.
So it's like, let's see what you'll do in this situation, and then I'll propel you to this situation.
Right. And what you said earlier about serving,
Nobody wants to do it.
Nobody wants to do it because you don't get the recognition for that. You have to serve in order to be recognized at any point in your ministry.
If you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead.
Write that down.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to spend the time it takes. Nobody wants to, certain jobs, like you have to, what is it called? Where you go in and you kind of work for free and learn stuff.
Internship.
Apprentice. Yeah. Nobody wants to do that. Oh, I should be getting paid for what? You know nothing at all.
Right.
Like you're getting paid in the knowledge of the thing that you're learning how to do. Like that. Yeah. That's why I can kind of step into certain things because I spent years and years of knowledge getting poured into me. in working for free for nothing. Like I'm giving up my time, but I'm getting back so much more, and now we see these pastors every week. It seems like now we got Michael Tate that all this stuff has came out about him.
Oh, the Newsboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you saw
he admitted a lot of it. Yeah. It's like these people get a platform and they forget about the obscurity.
And they forget about who put them there.
Yes. And sometimes, pride comes before a fall. And sometimes we really, even in the time where God has propelled you and given you a platform and given you a voice, you still need to remember those small times. You still need to remember. Me and Mike was talking about it the other day, where you get some people that's over something and don't want to clean. It's like, now, if you're too good to clean, are you good enough to lead?
Right.
Like me, I'll be on a Sunday morning, I'll see a spill, I go to clean it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm the head of the church. Like I've got to go and clean it. I've got to be humble enough to do the small thing. I clean toilets. I was vacuuming on the day I got ordained as a pastor. I was vacuuming the church in a suit. Like that's the kind of mindset you have to have. And I'm not saying I always have that mindset. Of course, I have my weak moments also. But we have to remember those moments, that darkness, that wilderness. And I think that God allowed me to go through such a lengthy wilderness to remind me of that. He really had to break me of any pride whatsoever.
How's that manna?
Yeah, man, it's just
it's a little dry, but
man, same old every day.
But that leads to the path of good leadership or bad leadership, because saying all that, good leadership. If you're in leadership and there's something you wouldn't do or won't do, why would you expect people that are kind of under you to do it?
Right.
It's kind of like, with Inman, we always tell him, we're, tell him to do something or whatever. And he's like nervous about doing it. Or I was like, we're not going to tell you to do something if we thought it was unsafe or that we wouldn't do it.
Right. Yeah. And you set that bar, you set that example. So you've got to be able to go through all that stuff and do all that stuff to be able to show somebody else how to do it. You've got to learn to be a follower before you can learn to lead somebody.
Well, that's true outside of ministry. The management jobs that I've had, I've always said that I would never ask somebody to do something I wouldn't do.
Right.
And you have to be able to do all the stuff that you're telling people to do in case somebody's not there to do it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to step into that.
They used to drive me crazy when a manager would come and try to tell you your job, but it's like, you've never done this. Like, why are you trying to tell me how to do it? Or they'd step in and like, all right, let me show you. Yeah, that's wrong. Don't do it like this. Like, dude.
That was when I worked at that housing company with Andrew Holtzhauser.
Yeah.
It was upper management that had no idea what we did. It was like, we need to change this.
Yeah.
What is it that you think you're changing?
Like, I don't think you understand what you're talking about.
Legit. It's like, oh, it's not working. It's been 2 days.
That's one thing. Y'all ever seen that show, Undercover Boss?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love about that, where like, the owner of this huge company comes in and he's like, why do we do it like that? And then the worker's like, that's just how they trained us.
That's
and
the
he's
company
just like,
policy. Yeah.
He's like, no, this ain't right. And you kind of see that light bulb go on of like, oh, I didn't realize this is what was going on. This is what they were doing.
And I've learned in the military regarding leadership that crap trickles downhill.
Yeah.
That if you are under bad leadership, everything beyond it's going to be not great.
Yep. It gets filtered down.
Yeah. So it's your job as a future leader, as a potential leader, wherever, be your job or ministry or whatever it is. It's your job. If you feel that is in your future, or that is coming, it's your job now to allow God to mold you and prepare yourself for that, because you're at that point when you're stepping something like that, it's not for yourself anymore.
Yeah.
Everything up to was kind of for yourself to get yourself ready, but once you're in that position, it's no longer about you.
Yeah.
Well, I know for a fact that Mike has been through this. I know you have, that when you are under somebody that you see doing wrong things, now you're making mental notes. Okay, I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
I want to find a better way to do something. And it's another reason that's important to work under people and to learn. because not all learning is about what to do.
Right.
Some of it is
That's
about
good.
what not to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot of what I learned in the military was bad leadership.
Right.
I'd say 75 to 8% of leadership that I was under the military was not great.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get a letter from the Pentagon.
And y'all, no, we ain't.
Feds are coming.
Shoot. It's going to be a letter like, yeah, you right.
Yeah, and it is. And God will put you there and leave you there. You know, a lot of times we beg to get out of that season. Like, just come on. And sometimes we need to learn the good, the bad, the ugly, what to do, what not to do in that season. So no matter where you're at in that darkness, in that dry season, in that desert season, there's something that you can learn from that. It could be kind of the worst time of your life, but there's stuff that you can learn.
Yeah.
If you just are willing to say, okay, this is a bad situation. What can I learn out of it?
Oh yeah.
What can I get out of it?
Through all my dark seasons, I have learned more about myself through that than I did when things were great. You know, it's just because you come to a point to where you have to look at yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to look at number one, what did I do to be a part of the problem that I'm in?
Yeah.
And what can I do to really not be here again?
Right. Oh, and, I'm talking about the Israelites in the desert. Like, they kept, instead of looking at themselves, they start to blame God, and they stayed in the desert running in circles instead of learning and getting out of it. You know, it's like, well, you could just, there's the promised land right there. It shouldn't take y'all that long to get there, but because they weren't introspective and looking at themselves and going, how do we need to grow? What do we need to do? They're, God, why did you bring us here? You could have left us in Egypt.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Because it's hard to look at yourself.
Boy. Yeah.
Look in that mirror and be, what did you do wrong?
Yep. Especially when it's a darkness season that you continuously find yourself in. It's like, well, then what are you doing?
Right.
You know?
I was going to say there's always, whether the situation is about you or not, there's always something that you can look at yourself and figure out what you can learn from it. Like the worship leader before me at Liberty Hill, it was all eyes on him, but I also took that as what can I and what can we as a church learn from this and be sure that we are approaching this situation correctly, biblically, lovingly, because it's easy to point fingers and say, go away.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, this was probably the worst thing you can do. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or what could we do to prevent this from happening again? Yeah. What could we have done different to prevent that we could have done to prevent this from happening at all?
Yeah.
Because there's always something that both sides could have done better.
Right.
Always. You've got, a couple that breaks up or gets divorced or whatever. And it's like, this guy was a horrible guy. Okay, that may be true, but there's things that you could have done differently also. It's not always just, that person bad, we done everything right.
Yeah.
There's always something that...
And it may not always be something that would have made a difference, but again, it's always a lesson for the future.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And it's that old saying, there's always two sides to every story, it's just examining that.
Yep.
Yeah. That's always, I always say, I don't say I always say, it's kind of something that I've been kind of reinforcing in my mind lately. You can't really form an opinion until you have all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
And in a day of the internet, we just do. You hear the story, you see the headline, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been guilty of doing that. Like, I'll see a headline on Facebook, and because it's Facebook, the headline is not even the story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, did you hear that so-and-so, blah, blah, blah? It's not even what happened. What am I thinking?
You read it, it's like, that's not at all.
Well, that's all it is just to catch your attention and
Clickbait.
click.
Yeah. That's what it's called, clickbait.
Clickbait. Yeah, and we can do that in our lives, a lot is you hear a story, you see something, and you automatically you judge the whole situation on that instead of, because you do that in your own wilderness period. You look at it and you go, oh, well, this is just punishment for the, and you're not looking at the bigger picture of, okay, this is terrible. This sucks. What can I learn from it?
Right.
Maybe this is a growing season, so.
And I told this guy, I said, and I feel like a lot of times, when we ask God for things, it's not that God says no, but I think it's a no because he's already got something better planned that goes against that.
Yeah. And he knows better than you do,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
but like what?
Well, and we're in the picture. God's the artist. We are in the picture.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to see the big picture when
Yep.
we're such a very minute, just
Part of it.
minuscule
Yeah.
thing, like within that big picture.
And that's the real problem is nobody wants to admit that we're minuscule.
Right,
That
right.
That our world is not the world.
Yeah. Yep. And if you just take a moment, you know, and that's a perfect analogy, just talking about the picture is so much bigger, but if you're right up on it, if you like literally take a painting, the Mona Lisa, and you walk right up on it and you got your nose touching it and you're looking at, you're not seeing this beautiful picture. You're, oh, well, this is just terrible. What is this?
It's just a blob.
Like, this is a blob of nothingness. And then as you back up and take a moment, as you're backing up, you start seeing more and more of it. And then you could see the whole thing. Oh, this is something beautiful. But us in our human state, we can't. It's so hard for us to look past what is right in front of us.
We was watching America's Got Talent one time, and they had a artist that was painting as like music was playing and stuff. And I mean, even getting closer to done, it's like, what? I have no idea. And then at the end, he turned it upside down.
He flips it. Yeah. It's so awesome. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I've seen that guy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that
Crazy.
is so cool. And that is such a good visual of how we treat things. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is stupid. Why am I going through this? Oh my gosh, it all worked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, man, it's crazy.
And then also think about David. He was anointed to be king, like probably 12, 13.
Yeah.
And then when was he king? Probably in his 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole time he was working as a shepherd boy.
Yep.
And then he was what Saul's like.
Yeah, he was the armor bearer,
Yeah.
and then he had to serve and serve and serve and serve.
And I don't
serve.
remember reading any part where he complained about it.
Oh, right. Just the part where he was running because Saul was literally trying to kill him, and they're like, "He's trying to kill me!" Like, come on now.
Someone was talking. I don't know if it was you, but some pastor was talking about it, and they're like, imagine just being in the field, just covered in Crisco, and be like, "What do I do now?"
Yeah, it's like, oh God, now what?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful because God was just preparing him every step of the way. Even in the wilderness, he's fighting bears and lions and all that. He's preparing him for the giant, and then he's preparing him to serve Saul, and he's preparing him for all these different things.
And I think with the responsibilities that he had already had, gave him a sense of maturity to understand that that is a huge thing that's not going to come to a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah. I mean, it says when he was standing and talking about, I'll go fight Goliath, he literally told them, I fought off bears, I fought off lions, I could handle this.
Yeah.
Literally, God was setting him up in the fields to fight a giant.
Yeah.
Right.
So imagine didn't have that, and now he's there with the Israelite army, and you know, let's say, you know, some of the things were flipped, and they're like, hey, we need you to fight this guy.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm just a kid.
I've tossed a 10-pound salmon.
yeah. Like, that's all I could do. Like,
that's it.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just a beautiful picture of how God can turn something that seems so bad into something so beautiful.
Yep. He's really good at that.
So in a long 26 minutes, tell the guy, embrace the season.
Embrace the weight.
Embrace the weight.
Because it
Embrace
matters.
the weight.
It absolutely matters.
It does. Well, and it kind of goes with, you know, the whole pregnancy thing. You know, we waited 3.5 years.
Right.
And, you know, people ask, like, you know, how do you feel? You know, because everyone, when they find out, you know, they're pregnant, their wife's pregnant, whoever, it's a moment of like shock and oh crap. And then eventually, you know, you start settling into that. When Liv told me, I felt like there's a weight off
like,
my shoulder. Like it was literally like, oh, thank God.
Right.
Like, I can breathe now.
And after the wait, you know, of all that time, now you've got 2. So God double blessed you.
Yeah.
That was when the oh crap moment came in.
You know, so it's like that period of wait, of leaning on God, of leaning on each other, of leaning on all your friends and family.
Yeah.
Led you to this moment to where now it's like, okay, we've got this. We've been prepared for this. We've been waiting on this. We've been praying for this. We've got a family. We've got friends that are behind us. You know, so it's prepared you. That whole waiting season prepared you for twinning. I don't think anything can prepare you for that. Hold up now. I've got twin sisters, and Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And you got the gender reveal this Saturday.
Yep.
So next episode, you can tell
We'll
our
know.
listeners what they are.
Okay, so
Liv got me a hat with the names on it.
let's
So
make
I'll wear
guesses.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with girls.
Both girls.
Yep.
Okay. Guess, Tyler. I tried. Oh man.
I swear, you and like 20 other people. No, so Liv, she wasn't feeling great Sunday, and she was playing piano, and she wasn't feeling great, so she sat in the green room during services. One of our friends, Patty's husband, Jason, came and was like, hey, is Liv feeling all right? I was like, yeah, she, pregnancy, she's kicking her butt, she's not feeling great. He goes, oh, the boys wrestling around there.
He tried.
And then Patty, we're around the parking lot leaving, and she said the same thing, but she's like, the girls messing around there.
So funny.
What's your guess?
One of each.
One of each. Okay.
That's gonna be my guess. That's what I'm going with.
All right.
One of each.
Because of your nonsensical.
I'm just saying. So we'll see.
He thinks that Tyler misspoke, and I think that Tyler doesn't think that deeply.
I did not think deeply about that.
That's still my guess.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. I have a pregnant wife that'll kill me if I reveal the genders.
Oh,
so
you're
why
right.
would I leave any kind of clue for that?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We were saying the other day that we kind of wish that we kept the twins thing a secret till.
Oh,
the
that
gender
would have been
reveal.
crazy. Yeah.
And like, okay, here's what the baby's gonna be. Like, oh my gosh, I knew it. Like, okay, here's what the other one's gonna be. Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, like I seen one
What?
where it's I can't remember exactly what it was, but balloons is what it was, and they like a bunch of balloons, and it came out blue and pink, and they lost their minds.
I like the Star Wars one that I seen.
Oh yeah, the
Where it was
pink and blue lightsabers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then they were fighting. They did a whole fighting sequence, and then the one that won was the gender of the baby. It was pretty cool.
That was my idea, but with wrestling.
Yeah,
But
that
Liv
would
would
have
not.
been good too.
Liv would not go for
We
it.
have wrestlers here at the church too
Like,
that
we
could
know
make that.
people.
Like, yeah,
We know people.
Yeah. That'd be
That would have
great,
been
man.
fantastic.
What a hater.
That's what I'm saying.
So we are now going to move into an episode called "That's What's Up." That's what's up. Meh, 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 meh.
What's up?
Things that we're watching, listening to, new music, new movies, new video games, whatever it may be going on in our lives. Tata, what do you got?
Shoot.
He was not prepared.
No, because I thought about this, because I can't remember if I was listening to something. I was like, oh, this would be something I'd talk about on the pod. I can't remember now. Phil Wickham's got a new song out called Homesick for Heaven. It's really good.
Nice.
I think that's it. I can't remember. I had something, but I cannot remember.
It was really good. And
Yeah.
I probably should have wrote it down.
Yeah, well, it's something that I thought about during the week. I was like, oh, I'll mention this. And now I'm like, guess it never happened.
Yeah.
Just ain't happening.
Richie Rich?
So we watched a really good movie on Netflix. Warning, there is bad language in this movie, but it was really good. And
Fudgesicles.
I have forgotten the name of it already. What I just told y'all about it.
Straw.
Straw. Thank you. And it was a really shut up.
The save.
Just shut up.
Tyler with the save.
Hey,
That's what I'm.
But
I'm like Curry, game
Coming in
3,
on the
game 4,
clutch.
coming in clutch,
But
Ain't
this is a rare occurrence in which Jennifer picked a good movie.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Because that is not her strong suit.
What's it about?
It's about a woman who basically loses everything and just
and
breaks.
it's not Tyler Perry in a
okay.
dress.
It is
That's
not.
right. Okay,
It
yeah,
is
yeah,
a
so
Tyler
you're telling me
Perry
it's a
movie,
Tyler
but
Perry
he's
movie,
not in
okay.
it. He wrote it, produced it, directed it. Like it's his baby. But
Didn't
it's
he?
a really good movie.
Wasn't the movie Manhood with Kevin Hart? Wasn't that one of his?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
I
I never
don't
seen
Not
know
a
that
what
one.
it
Tyler
is.
Perry fan, so I don't know.
Fatherhood. I know.
Fatherhood.
Yeah.
What'd I say? Manhood.
Yes, you did.
Okay, Fatherhood. Yeah,
I don't know. I still don't know the answer, but that's the movie.
that's
it's a good movie. Though.
It is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's really.
I've
It's a
got-
very opposite of Kevin
I
Hart.
was about to say
movie.
I've got very, very big Kevin Hart fatigue.
It's
This is
complete
different.
opposite.
Yeah, this is
It's a
different.
whole. He's a single dad. That's
really
that's what
good.
the movie is.
He still has some Kevin Hart isms.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's same as he's everything he's in. It's like
It's definitely not the
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't even.
It's definitely
That Frank Sinatra meets Kevin Hart. I don't know.
it's definitely not that.
That's Italian Kevin Hart.
But was I close?
You were pretty close. You were pretty
what I'm
close. That was pretty close. Yeah.
I've also been playing Dying Light 2 on Xbox. It is so intense.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Oh, it's good. I don't know what
intense. That's a tent.
Wow.
See right there.
We're not on video.
I'm making a tent. With my hands and arms
with the in tent.
and I'm in tent.
I need new friends too. Mike, what you got?
Switch 2 came out.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty
Not great.
good.
Pretty good, not great.
See, that's not good.
Pretty good, not great. Well, there's no launch game other than Mario Kart. It's good. It's a Mario Kart. It's improvement on the last one. Fine, great, awesome. But that's kind of it. I'm playing my Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, so I'm not even getting to experience.
That sounds like a letdown is what I'm
It's
hearing.
kind of. It's not a huge letdown because they improved a bunch of stuff over the last one, which is kind of what you want. But
waiting. We just talked about
right.
this.
It's in the waiting season. Yeah, so it's not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. But was that 2? Two.
That's the first one I've heard. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I've been waiting. Now that we talk about it, he's
going to have 10 for the rest of the episode.
Gosh.
Yeah. But got that.
Stand y'all.
I went and watched the new Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Was it possible?
It was average, about 7 out of 10.
You got a lot of letdowns this week.
It was good movie. It really was good 4 movies jammed into one because there was a lot going on. It just would jump around, and it was just a lot going on. So 7.5 out of 10.
All right.
So not super excited, especially for it supposed to be the last one. So
gosh.
Yeah. So it's
they'll probably say the same thing about okay, we need to make another one to really cap it off.
So that's about it. Just been playing the Switch 2 and watching a few movies. I think I'm going to go again this Monday and watch a movie. Got a few good summer blockbusters coming out.
Cool.
Yep. What is y'all's go-to? 4th of July is right around the corner. What is y'all's go-to Independence Day movie?
Independence Day.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about right there. You like Independence Day?
If you tell me you have not seen this movie, I am going to stab you in your sleep.
There's no way.
You've seen this movie, right?
Have you not?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, we really do need new.
Muted. Why you put your mic in the wrong one then?
Well, my bad. Sorry,
Tyler.
I didn't do it. He did.
Muted. Richard?
I don't know, dude.
What kind of a friend are you to let him go through and not watch Independence Day? Tell me, what kind of friend are you?
No.
Muted. Like, I don't understand how this could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment in the Almost Brothers podcast history to where I'm going to put this out on the airwaves, in your ears, in your car, wherever you're listening to this. I need 2 new hosts, okay? I can no longer deal with this nonsense, this treachery that is happening on this podcast. I am over it.
I don't know what I had to do with this situation. I've seen the movie.
You let him not watch it.
You made him watch all of One Tree Hill and still haven't gotten him to watch Independence Day.
Or Back to the Future.
We're going
to do some episodes where we sit and watch this.
He is 10 years old. So, I mean, that is somewhat of a we're going to let him slide on some of this stuff.
Apparently to Inman, I'm 35.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did say something about that, yeah.
That's
I can't remember what the conversation was, but he was like basically saying I'm old saying I'm old. I was like, how old do you think we are? And he was like, lives like 20, 22. I was like, okay, that's pretty close. How old do you think I am? He's like 35.
Oh, wow.
Dang,
I'm not even in my 30s.
You're the old man.
Man.
Now you know how I feel.
So we're gonna start doing some episodes where we sit and watch and talk about a few of these movies that Tyler hasn't watched.
Kind of like the Drama Queens podcast.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, back to the original question. Independence Day is the 4th of July movie.
Yep.
Like there is no other Will Smith.
I've got 3 of them that right around there. It's a tradition. I always watch Independence Day on 4th of July.
Right.
But there's 3 movies I watch right around that day always.
What you got?
I'll get with them. Tyler, what about you? What's your
Bruce Almighty.
You don't have.
I don't know.
So stupid. Gosh. So Independence Day, always. Top Gun. Always watch Top Gun right around that time. Very American movie, man. Just
a good movie.
good stuff.
What do you prefer, the original Top Gun or Maverick?
Ooh.
I know, because I almost like Maverick better.
I was about to say the original is a classic, but Maverick is they bring in better surrounding characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Maverick a lot, but
yeah,
man, that's a tough one.
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
R.I.P. And then
Iceman.
And then the third one is the Tomorrow War. That's kind of a newer one that I've been doing. Oh, that's
so good.
Yeah.
Ooh, I forgot about that
I'm
one.
sure you haven't seen that one either, but
that's a new movie. How have you?
Yeah.
I'm not a movie buff or anything like that. Like I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Like
I apologize.
I don't like it. I don't know.
That was one of those movies that's just like such an amazing idea behind that movie. It's incredible.
Richard, can you tell your co-host to stop staring at me?
But he's not going to. He doesn't listen very well.
I'm just so disappointed. I'm not mad, Tyler. I'm just disappointed.
You can be both, and I wouldn't care.
Hey, listeners, we just want to thank you for your continued support for the Almost Brothers podcast. Do us a favor and go to your favorite platform and rate us and like us and share with everyone that you know. Thank you so much. Love you.